Hello and welcome. I'm Anna the Wolfe, a transformative storyteller, and I'm so glad you've joined me today for this, the 16th in a series of mythic tales. And today is very similar to our last adventure together. We're still down by the creek's edge. And we just decided to sit there and skip stones for a while and really enjoy the wind rustling through the leaves and the quiet gurgling of the water. When you say, "Hey, Anna, check it out. Is that a fish?" And I go over to the edge and kind of put my paws in the water and look down, and sure enough, it's not just any fish. It's a huge fish. It's as big of a fish as you've ever seen. And it's full of all sorts of colors of, mostly greens and browns, and there's some ochres, and it's just a big, big fish. And we decide to watch as we notice there's more and more fish coming along. And it seems like the longer we stand there, the more the fish are coming along. So that's when we hear them talking amongst themselves. And the one fish says, "Do you remember this place from last year? I think this is the right place, but I don't remember there being a dam in the water. I think we've migrated up this stream every single year. Man, Dad, do you remember there being a dam here?" And the fish's dad says, No. We salmon have made this trip up the river every year, and there's never been a dam here. It's always been hard going, and every year there's a little bit more of an obstacle right here in this spot, but there's never been a full-on dam built. This is crazy. Wow. And so the salmon all started to pool at the base of this dam. And they just started swimming around in a big circle, talking amongst themselves. Well, what are we going to do? This isn't the right place to spawn. We've made the trip from the ocean up the creek. We've done everything we're supposed to do that salmon do every year. And if we just stay here, we're not going to be able to spawn. And Salmon said, I think what I'm going to do is just rest for a minute and try to figure it out. And so she was circling around all the other salmon, and she couldn't figure it out. There was an obstacle in the way. It was the same path that the whole family took every single year. And this year, the obstacle was far greater than any prior year. It was actually insurmountable. She could go no further. She had everything within her that begged her to continue up the creek. And if she stayed in that spot, she was going to perish. They were all going to perish. They were only supposed to go up the creek in fresh water for so long, and then it was required that she go back to salt water. And they stayed for far too long in that one place, circling and circling and circling, and they started to feel the effects of being in the wrong place. Some of their fins started to get fungal rot. Others of them developed slime on their scales. And when she looked around, she realized that her family was dying. And none of them had spawned. There would be no future. And Salmon was noticing on her own fins that there was some rot, and she needed to continue on with her journey or perish. And she watched as the vultures came in and picked off all of the carcasses of her fellow salmon, and she realized, this is hopeless. I'm one fish. I cannot jump. She leapt as high as she could, and she could not leap over the dam. There was nothing she could do. And so she gave up swimming in circles and began floating in the creek. And she floated backwards until she noticed there was a pull in another direction. The current was pulling off to the side, and she saw there was a tributary. There was a second adjoining stream that her family had never once swum up, and she had no idea what was down that stream. And so she sat looking at it and thought, I could go up that creek. There's still water. There's gravel. I can see it. There's everything I need down there. But that's a different creek than I've ever known. And so she sat there for a good day looking up that creek thinking, this is not the familial path. If I go down that creek, there could be a bear waiting to nab me. There could be anglers wanting to fish me out. I don't even know what's down that creek. But she was going to die if she stayed in the dammed creek. And so she took the tributary and she swam up it. And not only did it have everything she needed, there was no dam. She could have swum on and on and on, but she didn't need to. She only needed to go so far. And there was this perfect spot with nice clean gravel, and she nestled down into it, and several other salmon had joined her. They had seen the way she'd gone and swum along with her. And they all laid their eggs, and they all were fertilized, and the next generation of salmon would live on because they had taken the tributary. And salmon swum back down the creek, took the other one, and went clear back out to the ocean and saved her fins from rot. As soon as she hit the salt water, the rot was gone. It was taken care of. She'd made the full cycle. I'm so incredibly proud of swimming up a new stream. And I am so delighted that you're here today to witness your own swim. And wherever you are in the creek, I'm really pleased that you're still swimming. And I thank you for joining me today. Anna the Wolfe, and I look forward to telling you another tale. Thank you. Goodbye.